What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. Pittsburgh Steelers training camp just kicked off yesterday. As I sit here today, we are starting day 2 of training camp. The stories are already blossoming. Who's competing with who's showing out, who's on the verge of losing their job, who's getting starting reps, who's coming in banged up, who's doing a contract holdout, all that fun stuff. I have been notoriously quiet during this off season. Number one, because my phone's been banged up, but number one, B, because I don't want to bring you guys Steelers news that's just made up rumors. A lot of Steelers aggregates and Steeler journalists have use their YouTube channel just to like peddle false narratives and talk about all these trades we can make and signing everybody in existence because there's no real news happening. So I choose to take those times off to not bring you guys a bunch of content just for the sake of putting up content. So finally, now that we are in official training camp, there's some actual news coming out, and I wanted to talk to you guys about both sides of the ball, starting today with offense. Talking to you guys about 3+1 bonus, so 4 total position battles that are going to be interesting to watch for the Steelers coming up. Who has a chance of winning the job and who has a chance of losing the job and possibly losing their spot on the roster. There's a couple of interesting battles. I'm going to do defense next Friday, 8 days from now. I'm recording them back to back, and I'll post the defensive one next week. But as of today, I want to talk about 4 potential battles, a big 3 and then kind of a background one. 4 battles on the Steelers offense that are going to be fun to look out for in training camp. Number 1, starting at quarterback, and that is going to be obviously quarterback number 1 is kind of figured out. It's clearly going to be, Aaron Rodgers, unless he gets hurt. Knock on wood. The last quarterback spot obviously would go to Drew Aller, being a big developmental guy that was drafted. He's not going to be getting any kind of playing time, but we want to see how he develops. The big kind of what if comes at quarterback 2. Now, obviously, you generally want to have a veteran back there, so it's kind of a rough go to look at Will Howard and say, well, Howard could be quarterback 2. But because he's been considered in the pole position for quarterback 2 all offseason, and Mike McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers have both talked about how good Howard has been and what he's shown them in this offseason. And McCarthy said that if he was there when they were drafting Howard, they would have drafted Howard much, much higher than the 6th round. So, and that coupled with the fact that Mason Rudolph has been here, he's been gone, he's come back, we've already seen his ceiling. He didn't really play very well last year. I think we've seen the most we can see out of Rudolph. So I think for the interest of the future, we want to see what Will Howard and later on Drew Aller have for us. You want to see what Will Howard's ceiling is. But again, Rudolph is still a veteran who knows the system, and Howard is still a guy who did not play his rookie year, got hurt before preseason, and has never played an NFL snap. So you've got a 6th round pick who has no NFL experience. So overall, it's super interesting. You've got a guy in the 6th round who's got no downs in the NFL against pro competition, and another guy who is a proven veteran who's won before, but didn't play well outside of Pittsburgh, didn't play well when he came back to Pittsburgh, and we've already seen his ceiling. So I would like to see Will Howard get this spot, but Rudolph versus Howard is going to be interesting because McCarthy talks very highly of Howard, but Rudolph did get the start with the number 2 reps yesterday because he is the veteran. That's how that goes. Usually rookies get the last opportunities. And even though Howard's in his 2nd year, he didn't play last year, so he's considered a rookie. So Howard versus Rudolph for quarterback 2 is going to be super interesting because we're likely not going to keep 4 quarterbacks on this roster. Then we go to running back. We have a running back battle with the RB3 position. Obviously, Jaylen Warren got an extension. He's our guy. He's been our number 1 guy here for a while. We brought in Rico Dowdle, who had some big games last year, who's another veteran who's going to play as the 1A, 1B kind of guy with and behind Jaylen Warren, or at least splitting reps. So the 3rd running back spot is interesting because Caleb Johnson, came out, drafted, got replaced last year by Kenneth Gainwell. They brought another guy in, Rico Dowdle, here when Gainwell left to go to the Bucs. So they keep bringing in guys to show us that they don't have full faith in Caleb Johnson. That being said, Johnson hasn't gotten much of an opportunity to play running back in the NFL, and when he has, he's been just okay. Nothing special, nothing splashy, but okay. But a young guy who's got a lot of potential, and we have a new coaching staff now. So Caleb Johnson looks to be in the pole position to get that 3rd spot, even with a fresh start. That being said, they drafted Eli Heidenreich in the 7th round as a feel-good local Pittsburgh, Navy guy, who reminds them of Christian McCaffrey in college who's got both running and receiving abilities. The dude is a freakish athlete, makes a lot of cuts, makes guys miss, can play receiver, can block, can play running back. So it's going to come down to, is Eli Heidenreich good enough to take a spot? Because he's not going to take a wide receiving spot, so it's likely going to be him or Caleb Johnson as that third running back. So that's going to be the one to watch. Can Heidenreich maximize his opportunities, or can Johnson show any growth? Because I don't see a way in which both of these guys make this roster unless there's an injury or a pup situation. So Johnson versus Heidenreich, it gets my attention. And the third kind of big battle for the offense, the right guard spot. Who's going to be starting at right guard now? Is it going to be Spencer Anderson or Brock Hoffman? Spencer Anderson played as the extra lineman last year and a pretty good alignment for the old team. That offensive play caller is gone now. Brand new system, more traditional offensive sets. Spencer Anderson is the Steelers veteran. He's been settling in and taking a lot of the first team reps. But we did sign Brock Hoffman this offseason. Mike McCarthy is a big fan of his, worked with him in Dallas. So who's going to get the starting spot, and how far apart are these two guys from each other? I would say this is your closest battle of all the offensive battles coming in here. And it is for a starting spot. It's someone who's going to be the main guy at right guard. Now, we could see both guys playing, and I think we will. It's going to be a 1A, 1B for a while. I would think Spencer Anderson's got a bit of an advantage here, but not by a whole lot, to be honest with you. So, interested to see what these guys can do on the offensive line alongside a bunch of really young guys. Now we have kind of a backup little fun one. One more offensive battle that I'm looking at, and that's tight end 3. Jonnu Smith was released this offseason, thankfully, after kind of a bad year and a bad system last year. We did wind up losing Connor Hayward, my to the Raiders. So the tight end 3 spot behind Freiermuth and Darnell Washington is wide open. We did draft Riley Nowakowski, fullback / tight end. Now, is he going to be a traditional end-of-the-line tight end, or is he going to line up at fullback? Kind of like Connor was doing in Spartan last year. Are they going to run Spartan anymore? We don't know. Riley Nowakowski's got the kind of lead spot here. You would think at first, because of the draft pick situation and because he reminds us a lot of what Connor Hayward can do as an everything guy. But they did sign a veteran tight end Robert Tonyan from the Packers, who played with McCarthy on the Packers, played with Aaron Rodgers, and was targeted by Rodgers a lot on the Packers. A veteran guy who's not super athletic, but has a good frame, good size, good hands. So being the veteran and being familiar with the coach and the quarterback makes you think that Tonyan might have the one-up spot for Nowakowski, even though he's not quite as diverse. And he's not quite as athletic. He is the more proven guy. Now, there's a third guy in this battle as well. USC's 6'7" tight end, Lake McCree, a guy that I think is one of our best undrafted free agents who has a lot of length and a lot of athleticism and is a hard guy to bring down. So I think when it comes to tight end 3, it's going to be, do you like the length that McCree gives? Do you like the familiarity and the veteran leadership Tonyan brings? Or do you like the Swiss Army knife move him around the line spot that Riley Nowakowski brings? And that one is up to personal preference. So those are the 4 battles I think it is most exciting and intriguing to look at on offense as we go into camp. Keep an eye on these guys. Keep an eye on guys like Nowakowski and Lake McCree and Eli Heidenreich, because they're going to be super, super interesting. Also, return man Caden Weegan as well, who could work his way into some receiving sets. That's my offensive breakdown. And next week, I'm going to bring you guys, recording it right after this, and I'll bring you guys the defensive side of the ball for next week. So stay tuned here. Anytime there's any kind of big offensive or defensive Steelers news, I'll bring it to you on this channel. So please like, share, and subscribe to these Pittsburgh Steelers deep dives. Tell me in the comments down below what you think of these battles, and are there any other ones on offense that you think are intriguing to you and why? Let's talk about it, and I will see you guys soon. Go Steelers.